I thrifted this old mahogany buffet for just $35 and we are gonna give it an incredible transformation. Project pieces in my area are getting up there in price, so to score something like this for only $35 was kinda like hitting the jackpot. It may not look like it, but there's a lot of work to be done, so let's just jump into it.
Okay, moving the hardware.
Pardon my sound effects, but after the hardware's removed, we're scrubbing off all the old nasties using some cheap but effective Dawn dish soap.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and scuff sand the piece.
And I know that YouTube loves the no sanding required makeovers, but this step is so important to create those little scratches that will really help grab onto your primer. Tedious, yes, but prep is key to ensuring that your hard work doesn't end up peeling off onto the floor. This little guy came in with my screwdriver set, and it's really good for opening the drawers that you've already taken the handles off of. I've begun sanding the finish off of the edges on the drawers since I am planning on doing some stripping later on. Now that I have way better lighting, I can see all the dust and dirt that's accumulated inside of this piece, so now I'm just quickly sucking it out and doing a once-over.
I wanted to see if this would work.
Okay, so scraping is pretty effective, but this is a lot easier. So we will strip the top.
Okay, people might tell you to use like a chip brush to spread your stripper around since it's disposable, but cardboard is basically free. I really try not to use brushes if I can help it, unless I have details, which I actually do in this piece. But if you only have flat surfaces, a piece of cardboard will get the job done just fine. This thing was on some really nice caster wheels that made it really easy to move around, but the downside is it makes it really easy for it to move around. And after we got most of the stripper off, I'm going in with some steel wool and lacquer thinner to dissolve and remove what I can. Don't worry if you have some stubborn finish that doesn't want to come off, we will sand that off later once it's dry. For the drawers, I scrubbed the details with a brass brush, and this took off the finish so well.
No, there's none of them either. Nice.
By this point, we were getting tired, so we called it a night.
Let's sand this down.
The next day, all the stripped areas were dry and ready to be sanded.
Okay.
Ooh. Our new $1, is it $1 a sheet? Sandpaper.
It was 100 of them for
$10.
for $10. So what is that? 10 cents, right?
100 of them for $10? That's 10 cents, yeah, 10 cents. Not a dollar.
Anyway, you can really start to see the pretty wood coming out, and this part was so satisfying even though I was freezing my butt off.
Okay.
Like a candle. It was absolutely freezing on this day. It was snowing and it ended up being like -18. Let's see. Oh, she's on there, on there. And after copious amounts of hand sanding, we turned around and we saw such a pretty sky.
It's nice, but it's chilly. It's cold.
Oh.
How much more do you want to do until?
Okay, so now that all the wood pieces are stripped, get rid of all this extra wood filler. That's just all over. Clean it up a little bit. It's getting just way too cold. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I'm hungry, so I think we're just gonna go in and then maybe we'll talk tonight, but I don't know yet.
I did not come back out that night. I didn't come out this morning either. Kendall is picking up my slack, luckily, and doing a final once-over, making sure everything is perfect before priming. It was still down in the negatives, which is way lower than the optimum spraying temperature, and as such, the primer wouldn't come out. Until it did. So I finally moseyed my way back outside and started taping up all the parts on the body that have been stripped because in case you haven't figured it out by now, we're doing the dipped look. I think this piece is the perfect candidate for this type of look because it's got like a natural break in the body. I got a brand new can of primer and this time it sprayed beautifully. This primer though, even in optimal temperatures, will leave you with a rough texture, so just be sure to sand it down once it's dry.
Okay, we're using Circa. So that's who we are. Ooh, that's nice. It's real full.
I've made more messes than I'd like to admit by trying to pour out of a full gallon, so I made Kendall help me. And I am glad I did, because look at that pour. What a guy.
Thirsty.
Whoa! How did that happen? I've added way too much water into the sprayer, and it's giving rookie. I'm just going with it though, because it is only the first coat. So let's sand her down and move on. Or try to. Sanded, wiped, ready for the next coat. Let's go. Mask.
Ow. Ow.
If you've ever tried to put on a respirator with a ponytail, you know. We added more paint into the gun to even out the ratio, and this is how it's supposed to come out.
Alright, what do you think?
And after the second coat of paint, we're finally ready to seal it.
Yeah.
We are taping off once again because we're doing a paint wash. It's good that we sealed off the paint first so that it doesn't soak up any of that paint wash that might drip onto the body. And as for the color, we're going to be using Fusion's Algonquin. So we did a 3:1 water to paint ratio before spreading it all over and wiping it back. You do kind of want to work quickly, especially on large surfaces, because you don't really want that paint to dry like on your wood, otherwise you could get lap marks. I wanted to tone down that orange, plus give it an even color throughout because as you can see, the top is made of like a veneer on top of a different type of wood. I ended up doing 2 coats of the paint wash, and once those were dry, I filled up my paint sprayer again, this time with some clear poly. And now that we're finished with most of the work, we have the handles to take care of. I wanted to preserve the original bail poles, so I just cleaned them up with some Barkeeper's Friend before letting them air dry. Okay, so the insides of the top drawers were lined with this really gross fabric on the inside, and I was determined to remove those because it just looks kind of dirty. We began by using our super cute baby pull saw to completely disrespect the makers of this piece and take out those dividers. So once those dividers were out, I scored the edges with a knife to start the removal process. The fabric was glued onto the drawer bottom, so it was sandwiched between all sides of the drawer, so it was really on there. I began by saturating the entire bottom with some water before steaming the glue with an iron to loosen it. This was almost the best part of the whole thing.
The other way, the other way, the other way.
So we're pretty much all done after I put this hardware on, and then all that's left to do is to roll it inside. Thank God for the caster wheels. This piece started in pretty good condition, but after hours of work and almost losing a toe to frostbite, this is what we were able to come up with. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Make sure to subscribe to keep up with all my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and Kendall and I will see you in the next one here on Holly's Garage. Bye guys.